So I don't use the word epidemic lightly at all. There is a silent testosterone epidemic. It's ruining your life. Every single time you step outside, your energy is being zapped. You're slow, you're lethargic, you have no mental sharpness, you're not a high performer, and it's probably because you have low testosterone. So here we are. The number one thing is called xenoestrogens. I think I've said that right, but I normally just say estrogens, right? They're everywhere. It's on my head right now. It's in this room as we speak. It's clothes. If you look at what I'm wearing, it actually has hundreds of thousands of microplastics in, leaching into my skin every single time that I sweat. The trousers, they're 100% linen, so they're fine. What do I have in my pocket now? I have a microphone in my pocket, which is probably emitting radiation as well, which is close to my balls and is heating my balls, which is killing sperm, which is killing my fertility indicators, which also kills testosterone. What else do I have? I have artificial light shining down on me right now, which, again, negative side effects. Wearing plastic-based underwear, which is the worst, because I mean, when you're running, when you're in the gym, you sweat, that leaks into your genitalia, which therefore impacts testosterone, and it's on your skin all day. I mean, even things like condoms, which, I mean, it's very controversial, but there's so much propaganda every single time you watch TV. Durex, lube, this, that. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing wearing condoms occasionally or whatever, that's fine. But it is made with microplastics, right? And I can go even deeper. So what do I do for work? I work at a glasses store. We sell contact lenses. Right now, I'm wearing contact lenses, microplastics. But has there been a study to show that wearing contact lenses affects your vision, affects the health of your eye? No. I wonder why. It's a business. So phones in pockets. I can't lie, I won the genetic lottery. I did because of my height and I do have a top percentile face. But it's a what if. So there was many things that I used to do when I was younger which were impacting my hormones, which is why I actually started developing gynecomastia, which is, if you didn't know, it's literally like a breast mass, which is underneath your chest. And I started developing it through some of the habits that I used to do when I was maybe 8, 9, 11 years old, which then impacted puberty, and it had, as I say, very negative side effects. So every single drive after school, there would be a set of water bottles that I'd use every single day. They'd be in the back of my dad's car. I'd get them out. They'd be really warm. You could taste the plastic at the bottom, but I didn't think anything of it. That's literally something that I did maybe 5 times a week over the course of years and years. And yeah, I just drink it. I never thought that was an issue. People like you probably don't think that's an issue at all. Well, there's hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of microplastics. Once you put that water into your bloodstream through drinking it, your testosterone massively reduces. Okay, that will decrease performance in the gym, in every single realm. The only real solution to getting rid of microplastics within minutes is sauna. So you've heard me talk about sauna in every single video, but this is the main reason why the sauna is so good. It's because through sweat, microplastics will leak out of your body. Not just that, seed oils, which dramatically reduces your testosterone. So yeah, you need to sweat more. If you don't have access to a sauna, wear an 100% cotton hoodie, go on a run, walk on the Stairmaster. You just need to sweat, and you need to sweat every single day. And deep sweating is a proven way of just getting rid of microplastics. Simple. If you don't have access to a sauna, upgrade to a gym that has a sauna. If you can't upgrade to a gym that has a sauna, just sweat more. And pro tip, don't use microplastic clothes like I'm wearing here with this vest. If you're sweating, you want to use cotton, linen. And aim for consistent sessions, okay? If you can't do 20 minutes in the sauna, fine. If you're new to it, do 10 minutes. The heat shock proteins will probably kick in because you're newer earlier, and yeah, you'll be able to leak any of the toxins out. And I thought this was woo-woo stuff until I remember there was one time I drank a load of vodka, like on a night out, and I was looking at, how do I get rid of a hangover? And it was a morning time. I could barely get out of bed, but I booked an Uber to the gym to go to the sauna. And when I was sweating, I was like, I kind of smell something here. What's going on? So I get into the shower, I like sort of wash it all off, and I could literally smell the vodka like leaking out of me. And that moment for me was like, this sauna stuff is real. Like, I can literally smell the alcohol leaving my body, and that's the same for microplastics. So get in the sauna. Cold exposure. This kind of goes with sauna, but the problem with going in the sauna is technically it does actually reduce your testosterone just a bit for a short amount of time. I mean, long term, obviously it increases it, but hear me out on this. So because you're in the sauna, it's so hot, which is obviously great for sweating and things like that. But what it's not great for is your balls. It will kill the sperm cells, and there's a reduction in testosterone. So how do you mitigate that problem? How do you mitigate, even if you don't go to the sauna, how do you get a testosterone boost? It's cold exposure, mainly for the balls, right? So what you can do, if you're a sauna pro like me, you'll get an ice pack, bring it into the sauna, put it like underneath your underwear while you're in the sauna to sort of stop that from happening. But let's say you don't go to the sauna and you just want a quick testosterone boost, either really cold shower, make a cup underneath the balls so that gets maximum cold exposure, or just get an ice pack and just like go to sleep basically on the ice pack. It's a really quick way, it's super efficient. It boosts the amount of sperm cells that you produce, and that has a dramatic effect on testosterone. Ice baths, amazing. Most gyms and stuff, I don't know if you have access to an ice bath, you can probably make it yourself. Amazing, has a lot of mental benefits as well. But yeah, as I say, pairing those two, hot and cold, not only, so if you do like 15 minutes in the sauna, then cold shower, then 15 minutes in the sauna, then cold shower, then leave, there's another additional benefit, which is recovery. Hot and cold therapy, for I think the past like 30, 40 years, there's been numerous studies saying how good that is for recovery. And how do you increase testosterone? By being fully recovered, because that lowers your cortisol. You just need to reduce your consumption of microplastics. So I've told you how they're so bad, I've told you what they're in, but how do you actually reduce the consumption of microplastics and estrogenics? Because they go hand in hand. Switch to stainless steel water bottle. Never, literally never drink out of a plastic water bottle. But you might say, if I'm going into Sainsbury's, get a plastic water bottle. That's not that bad, right? Because I mean, it's not like there's been heat added to it. But what you don't visualize is that plastic water bottle has probably traveled from the other end of the UK or whatever country you're in a really warm van, millions of microplastics leaking in to the water, and then now you're drinking it. It doesn't make sense. But genuinely, what's 1,000 times worse than that, and which is the worst form of microplastics, is the ones found in takeaway coffee, plastic lined cups. Because it looks like it's a cardboard cup. They sell it to you like it's a cardboard cup. It's not. There's plastic lining underneath the cup, and genuinely there's billions of microplastics in that. And that damages your health. You're literally going to live less if you have that every morning. And microwave food in plastic containers is also a no-go. Okay, you need to tell your mum, no, I don't want that like rice which is microwaved, unless you take it out of the packet and then microwave the rice, because you can't put plastic and heat, they don't go together, right? So there's loads of memes going on social media about like low cortisol, high cortisol. I'll explain it for you today. So how do I lower it? Time with women. For example, I'm seeing a girl at the moment, I go over often, you know, lay with her, the physical touch and the closeness, it gives you oxytocin, which is a really good hormone to have, which dramatically reduces your cortisol. So I see her quite often, but raise it when necessary. For example, today is a big day for me. I've got my studio set up. I needed to be productive today. So in the morning, I raised my cortisol. I had an iced coffee. So caffeine, cortisol up here. And then there's the crash a few hours later. So your cortisol does lower in the end. But if for deep work, gym, you need a short cortisol spike because it does actually sharpen your focus. If you're low cortisol all the time, low stress, like a lot of my friends, you're not going to be as productive as someone who manipulates their cortisol, depending on the needs. I've been filming content for about 3-4 years now, not very consistently. I was looking back on some of my old videos, and it's like my jawline, it seemed very soft, and my face, it wasn't as like strong, like my skull wasn't as like sharp. As you can see now, there's a lot more mass like in my face. And I think that's because of what I've been doing. So we know about how the walk impacts your facial structure. You need straight feet. I've probably talked about that in my body language video. There's been a loss of bone mass in humans over years, and it is because of these estrogenic materials. And I think I've gone from the sort of soft jawline, like the less bone mass, less like skull-shaped look, to having this now because of everything that I've been doing, specifically sauna. You literally have human growth hormone when you go into the sauna, which increases bone mass. And yeah, it's mad. If you make these changes, you're going to literally see a change in your face. But that's over years of time. You can't just get there tomorrow. That takes time. But in terms of diet, if you didn't know, cholesterol isn't a bad thing. It's crazy because cholesterol isn't a bad thing at all. There was actually a study where this guy, I think he ate like 20 eggs every single day for a certain amount of weeks, and his cholesterol actually dropped, because you have the HDL, you have the LDL. One's good, one's bad. I can't remember which one's good, which one's bad. But basically you want the bad one low, the good high. You need amino acids and cholesterol to combine together to make testosterone. So that's why you need a high fat diet. With fat, you have plenty of cholesterol. So I'm talking about the ribeye steak instead of the sirloin steak. I'm talking about avocado, eggs with the soft yolk. Don't cook the yolk for too long, because then it's less bioavailable. You won't get as much cholesterol. I'm talking about raw milk. This is high testosterone foods. This is foods which will go straight to your testosterone. Fat to carb ratio are important. A higher fat diet than carbs, or if you're an athlete, you actually do want higher carbs. But if you're mainly just focusing on increasing testosterone, you need a high fat diet for the cholesterol. Placebo effect is real. You need positive affirmations. It might sound like woo-woo, but if you think that you're healthy, if you think that you've got high testosterone, your hormones are in check, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, yeah, that's a man with high testosterone, over time, you will actually achieve that goal if you also do the work. You've got to act like you already have high testosterone, posture, tone, confidence. What does a man that has high testosterone How does he act? How does he act in certain situations? Is he more decisive? Does he say yes instead of yeah? Does he have possibly a lower tone of voice? Does he end his words on a high? Hello, my name is Raphael, like a customer service voice, or does he say, hello, my name is Raphael? If the placebo effect is real, if you can take a pill that has no drugs in and you can get high off that pill, then why is positive affirmation such a woo-woo concept? It's not a woo-woo concept. I've seen it happen in real life throughout my life. Take this advice away and subscribe if you want to see me again. If you don't, that's completely okay.